They all came from the rural areas, have never been involved in war. They had a little bit of training, but obviously they were not allowed to bear arms, and were basically going to be used for digging trenches and picking up people that were, yes. The panic did not ensue amongst those left on the ship. Instead, a leader emerged, Reverend Isaac Joburg. He called the men together and admonished them. Be quiet and calm, my countrymen, for what is taking place is exactly what you came to do. You are going to die, but that is what you came to do. Brothers, we're drilling the death drill. I, as a Xhosa, say you are my brothers. Swazis, Pondos, Basutus, we die like brothers. We are the sons of Africa. Raise your war cries, brothers, for though they made us leave our assegais in the kraal, our voices are left with our bodies.
It's very sad.
That's very sad. And so those left on board removed their boots and stemmed the death dance on the slanting deck for a sinking ship. Far from Africa, but united together as brothers and comrades in arms.
Very tragic.
Very tragic. In fact,
Not many of us even know that this happened 100 years ago. I think it's important to commemorate the loss.
Yes, but it's also important to recognize that these men not fighting a foreign war, that they physically were not involved in. Africa at the time, yes, was in danger, but it wasn't on our shores. They had to go out of the country to go and fight, but they were willing because most of them, in fact, volunteered to be there. And it's said that we had survivors, but most of them, in fact, that perished could not swim. They were not equipped to do that. It basically shows us that, you know, South Africans should come together, especially when you've got this very difficult times where people don't have work, but also recognizes that we've made mistakes, and those mistakes must be rectified by us coming together and planning together to ensure that we've got a better life.
And no doubt events like this puts us in touch with our humanity once again, and the importance of life.
It definitely does, but it also is a lesson to our children, that this is the history, even if our people were under pressure and sometimes not given what they're supposed to get, stood together to ensure that the world that we live in is safe.
Absolutely, absolutely. Tell us, how is the city planning to commemorate this event? I believe it's happening over the weekend in Soweto.
We are meeting tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock at Joburg, where the military has got a chapel. We're putting up a plaque to commemorate the people that died on the SS Mendi. And after that, we're going to the Avalon cemetery to go and pay our respects to some of the fallen heroes in that graveyard. And basically, you know, ensuring that people know where South Africans have participated in wars, and obviously throughout, I think, MK shoulders soldiers will be there. We also suspect that our ex-premier, first premier in Gauteng, will also be there to come and commemorate this day with us.
Is this open to the public?
It is open to the public. An open invite went out to the public. We've distributed pamphlets throughout Dubai and the surrounding areas. And we've gone over to Radio Islam and a whole lot of other radio stations to ensure that people know, but also to give a little bit of the history of what happened, so that people can go and research and look at where we come from, but also learn the modern history, because after the First World War, there was a Second World War that came after that, and South Africans were part of that. After that, the liberation struggle in Angola and in the whole of Africa, where eventually in 1994 South Africa was liberated. So it is quite important that our children learn from that, so that we don't make the mistakes that have been made in the past.
Yeah. What do we know about the surviving families?
There is surviving families, and obviously most of them, just heard that my grandfather was part of that group. But there is surviving families, and they are spread all over the world.
That speech given by the Reverend on that fateful day is quite heart-wrenching if you have to think about his words. We have come here, this is what we came here for, we've come here to die, basically. And the Reverend's family, did he survive that? There were some survivors.
There were some survivors. I'm not too sure whether he did. I didn't fully read the whole book.
And it was 100 years ago as well. So it's
but he must have survived to have told the story.
Oh, okay.
Even to look at the words that he used at that time, when the ship is nearly going down, and him reciting this, saying, let's all stand together. This is what we came for. And unfortunately, a lot of people died on that tragic day.
How is the city planning to use this event, this commemoration, to appeal to the local communities to, in terms of the current challenges being experienced in Johannesburg right now?
I think to go out with a message to students, to children out there, showing them the history, and in fact getting them involved in the different projects that we have throughout the city, to ensure that we've got proper service delivery, and they start understanding the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is that as South Africans, we've got to stand together to achieve anything.
Absolutely.
Yes.
We're not going to survive this thing called life, but as long as we're alive, there's always reason for hope.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your time. It was lovely talking to you about this event, and we wish you all the best for the weekend.
Thank you very much.